Memories of the past began to attack me. Have you seen the 2020 movie The End of Endless Love? You may not have seen the film, but the familiar melody has become the memory of many people. When the film was released, it was criticized by many people due to the serious polarization of word of mouth. In the blink of an eye, several years have passed since this drama, and today we will taste this youth pain film, The End of Endless Love. I use my voice to create illusions that allow Earthlings to see the illusion I describe. If humans feel happy because of these illusions, their happiness is transformed into our life energy. I never understood why my dad chose to stay on this earth. He gave up thousands of years of his life for this. Fortunately, I will be able to get out of here soon. The movie begins with the perspective of the male protagonist. The male protagonist Shintang is an alien with the superpower to control sound, which can create illusions through sound and make humans feel satisfied. The food he survives on Earth is exactly that satisfaction. Shintang's ability has a fatal limit. If he uses superpowers on the same person 3 times in a row, he will be bound to the other person's life, and his life and death will depend entirely on the other person's joys, sorrows, and sorrows. It was precisely because of his bond with humans that his father also died after the death of his lover, which became a shadow in Shintang's heart and made him resist this binding relationship. At this time, the heroine Jizza, played by John Ruonen, appeared. She borrowed a fire from him. I have. She asked him to answer no. Okay, no. Then how did you ignite my heart? Yoshizawa is a part-time online anchor. She uses awkward and old-fashioned words to strike up a conversation in the cemetery, using contrast just to attract traffic. There are also some tips. Her live broadcast style contrasted strongly with the solemn atmosphere of the cemetery, and this outrageous behavior caused Shintang to be very dissatisfied, believing that she did not respect the deceased. Seeing that Yoshizawa was still following behind him, in order to get Yoshizawa out of the graveyard, Shintang used his superpowers on her for the first time, creating illusions through sound. After the superpower was generated, Jizza immediately chased after Shintang, but he didn't know that it was just his clone. In addition to Shintang, there is another alien Yuchi-Tong on Earth. After the death of Shintang's parents, Yukai-Tong was entrusted by Shintang's father to raise and take care of Shintang on Earth, and was his only relative. At night, Shintang found Yukai-Tong seeking happiness in the city square. Yukai-Tong was looking at the romantic proposal of a couple not far away, with a rare move on his face. Because the girl disliked the diamond ring too small in her heart, she was hesitating, and Yukai-Tong leaned close to her ear. He used his superpowers to let her see the big diamond ring, and the woman immediately agreed to propose. Shintang often disagrees with Yuchi-Tong's ideas, believing that he deceives people to make people feel happy and thus achieve life growth, which goes against the concept of being an alien. When everyone cheered and applauded, Shintang was unhappy and left silently. The energy carrier of alien survival appears in the palm of the hand in the form of luminous lines, and the length and brightness represent the remaining amount of life energy. By using sound superpowers to make others happy, every time you succeed, his lifeline will grow. Yukai-Tong often increases his lifeline in this way, which is also contrary to Shintang's righteous and awe-inspiring heart. Yukai-Tong believes in the quick method of lies, while Shintang insists on exchanging true feelings for sincerity. The two often disagreed. They still have 100 days to go back, and the passage back to their home planet will only open once. Shintang himself knew that after living for hundreds of years, he could not avoid deceiving happiness by creating illusions, and his spirit was exhausted, and he was long tired of this kind of survival. The once-in-a-millennium return passage is his only relief. After Yoshi's was dispersed by Shintang with superpowers in the cemetery, he returned to the company at night, and the leader immediately held the cemetery responsible for the traffic data topicality of the live broadcast in the cemetery. It can be seen that she must maintain a perfect smirk in front of the camera. She still doesn't want to accept this live broadcast method in private. For the sake of popularity, the leader continued to arrange for her to do eye-catching live broadcasts to further squeeze her mental state. The boss arranged a garlic eating competition for her. Yoshizawa rejected the live broadcast. On her way back at night, when Yoshi's watched the live broadcast replay, the comment area was full of malicious abuse, and netizens' comments were full of offensive remarks, scolding her for disrespecting the deceased, as well as personal attacks and malicious ridicule. She looked at the screen full of bad comments, and her pretending optimism collapsed in an instant. She was silently sad alone. It can be seen that Yoshizawa must have something unspeakable to make money through live broadcasting. When she returned to school, there would still be some gossip, but she was used to this kind of life. Yoshizawa is a folk song student. She lived in poverty and was often ridiculed and complained by her roommates because of a towel hanging under the door. My roommate said that the towel and the toilet rag in my house are cleaner than it. At this time, Yoshizawa was taking off his clothes and taking a bath, and his friend Yao Yao from the same school suddenly visited. She introduced the boss of the music company to Yoshi's, saying that she could provide job opportunities and network resources. Yoshi's wanted to refuse at first, but because his family was special and needed resources, he had to compromise. She took an unknown drug and followed. On the other side, Shintang opened the notebook. That's where he recorded the time and place he used his superpowers. Remember this page? The little boy he helped in 2015 heard his mother's voice. Here is an important foreshadowing of the movie. Shintang is on the countdown to leaving and needs to avoid binding to return to the home planet, so the photos and locations in his notebook are key tools to prevent life binding and prevent him from repeatedly using abilities on the same person. When sweeping the grave in the cemetery during the day, he accidentally met Yoshi's Yi and did not record any photos. Yu Kaitong came over to warn him not to repeat the same mistakes as his father. He did not record photos and names. Yu Qitong repeatedly warned and restrained Shintang almost every time. Shintang's father had an accident because he bound his human mother, so he kept beating Shintang with this matter, not allowing him to be emotional or soft-hearted. He reminded Shintang not to miss the earth, not to have too deep feelings with humans, and to prepare to go back on time. The basic daily family expenses are still covered by Yu Kaitong. As an old man who has lived for hundreds of years, his economic strength has reached a very high level. The entertainment venue manager is his job on Earth. In the evening, the boss asked Yu Kaitong to hurry up to deal with the venue, arrange balloons, and customer problems. At home, Shintang has been dreaming when he fell asleep. In the dream, his father was next to his mother's hospital bed, and Xiao Shintang watched his father follow his mother to death, leaving a big shadow on Shintang. At this time, Yu Kaitong encountered a more difficult problem, woke up Shintang, and called for help. It turned out that the customers in the box were the couple in the evening. Yu Kaitong was worried about using too many superpowers on the same person and was afraid of being bound, so he called Shintang to help prepare balloons and flowers. On the same night, it happened that Yoshi's was looking for a contract with a music company. Her friend Yao Yao also came here, but she was in danger. At the beginning, the atmosphere was quite harmonious, and Yoshizawa sang for the boss, but then the boss got drunk and touched Yoshizawa with the intention of being indecent. Just when Yoshizawa was in trouble, Shintang happened to come to the vicinity of this box. Shintang saw that Jizi was being harassed, and his sense of justice drove him to immediately rush over to stop the boss. Yoshi's ran out in a panic and collapsed emotionally. After Shintang finished dealing with the things inside, he followed over, gave Yoshizawa the mobile phone he forgot, and warned her not to come to this kind of place alone. Before leaving, Shintang immediately remembered that he had used superpowers on Jizi, and then he picked up the camera. He turned around and took a picture of Yoshi's. After Yoshi saw it, he instantly became angry, misunderstanding that Shintang was a pervert and taking revenge for the last live broadcast. Yoshi's lost control of his emotions, stepped forward to snatch the photo and tore it to pieces, hitting him, and the two quarreled every word. This photo conflict made the relationship between the two, who already distrusted each other, worse. Yoshizawa's impression of Shintang completely turned into a strange and perverted boy, and Shintang felt that Yoshi-tang was unreasonable. Yoshizawa's fierce reaction to the photo is actually reflected her situation as a depressed patient. She has childhood trauma, extreme sensitivity to personal space, and a strong sense of defensiveness against strangers. She suffered from exclusion at school for a long time, her live broadcast career was not going well, and her depression worsened, and this incident became the last straw that broke her heart. Yoshizawa came to the river alone, looking at the river. Her eyes were empty and desperate. She thought that no one in the world cared about her pain, and she had strong suicidal thoughts. At the same time, Shintang, who did not go far, sensed Yoshi's negative emotions. Shintang didn't have time to think about it. He mistakenly thought she was going to commit suicide and came to his aid. Shintang used her superpower for the second time, and a large amount of confetti turned into butterflies and flew out, forming a protective barrier around Yoshizawa. Yoshi saw a beautiful butterfly illusion and temporarily relieved her depression. After Shintang rescued her, GZE's mood gradually calmed down. She was strongly curious about Shintang in front of her. But after Shintang rescued her, he felt very uncomfortable and accidentally fainted on the ground, and black symbol marks inexplicably appeared on his hands. Shintang as an alien would not get sick at all, and now he is in the ward. Guardian Wei Kaitong rushed to the hospital to visit, and at first he jokingly ridiculed Shintang. When he accidentally saw the back of Shintang's hand, he suddenly found a black mark, which stood out against the white skin. Yu Kaitong thought it was painted, and wiped it hard with a dry towel, but the mark did not fade at all, and he realized the seriousness of the problem. Yu Kaitong suddenly remembered that there was the same mark on the back of his father's hand, and his eyes immediately turned red slowly, which was the mark bound to humans. At this time, some people will wonder, why is it bound after using it twice for the same person? This will only be shown at the end of the movie. This black cross is proof of the binding between Shintang and Yoshi's, and once it appears, it cannot be eliminated in the earth. Yu Kaitong was both shocked and worried, because he knew that the binding meant that Shintang's life was closely connected to Jiza from then on. Yu Kaitong remembered his father's instructions before his death, and he must take good care of Shintang, and his heart was indescribably sour. Seeing that returning to the home planet is close at hand, but he was in a major crisis at this time. After a night of deliberation, Shintang did not become decadent. He knew that his father died because of this. It was just that his father didn't want to leave the Earth. As long as he left the Earth after 98 days, then the binding would automatically expire. But he also had to ensure Yoshizawa's safety during the period before leaving. Yu Kaitong and Shintang were caught in the thinking of the binding link. It is impossible for the two superpowers to be bound, and there must be something wrong with this. So with doubts and binding, Shintang decided to take the initiative, first introducing GZE's basic information to Yu Kaitong and asking for advice on ways and methods to coax the girl. After Shintang was discharged from the hospital, he immediately went to the university where he studied. Shintang was a student in the dance department of this school, and he knew that Yoshi's was in the folk song department. On campus, Yao Yao was apologizing to Jizawa, because she felt guilty about the entertainment venue that day. Yoshizawa didn't blame, just cared about reminding her to go to the interview in time and not to be late. After the two separated, Yoshizawa bumped into Shintang who arrived. Yoshizawa thought that Shintang came because of jumping into the river, and she explained over and over again that she had just drunk too much, thinking that the butterflies she saw were fantasy. Facing Yoshizawa with a surprised face, Shintang did not beat around the bush and directly put forward a bold cooperation proposal, falling in love. Yoshizawa was instantly excited, looking around, showing great surprise and happiness. Shintang's palm lifeline flashed, but there was no sign of extension. It turned out that Jiza thought that Shintang was also on the live broadcast. She deliberately cooperated with him in her performance, and also taught Shintang the shooting angle and professional techniques. Shintang said that he did not shoot, and this confession made Jiza confused and wary, and she didn't understand why did this boy suddenly become so enthusiastic. Shintang did not give up, but proved his sincerity in his own way. Shintang found that Jiza was the most popular in the video of himself in the cemetery, and all the entertainment comments were praising Shintang and scolding GZE. He bluntly said the key point of this wave of traffic, the reason for the popularity is Shintang. Shintang took the initiative to help be a live broadcast partner for free to help increase fans and make money. Yoshi's had some doubts at first. After all, how could a good thing be like a pie in the sky? He helps her make money by making videos, and then doesn't want anything. Because Shintang is an alien, he can only lie that he wants to be famous with the help of live broadcasting. Under Shintang's persistence and the temptation of the data in the live broadcast room, Yoshizawa finally agreed to cooperate. The two reached a contractual relationship. Jiza first tested the live broadcast of Shintang playing basketball, and sure enough, Shintang's special features also made her live broadcast room popularity soar, and the popularity of the live broadcast room soared from a few people to millions of views. This has become a phenomenal topic on the whole network. Shintang's debut in the Jiza live broadcast room created a miracle of live broadcast effect. They cooperated with the effect of the show to attract a lot of passers-by, which made Yoshi's very happy during this time. But Shintang's lifeline was still not extended. Yu Kaitong didn't know where the problem came from, and Shintang felt that these happiness were all pretended to be by GZE. So Yoshizawa started the Happy Project with the content of the magazine. Early in the morning, Shintang prepared a love breakfast, and waited until Yoshizawa said that the two played a couple. They have to act both inside and outside the play, and maintain the live broadcast character. Although Shintang worked hard to make the live broadcast popular so that Jizza could make more money, Jizza was still not very happy. Shintang and Jizza have been bound by life, and he can directly perceive Yoshizawa's truest emotions. He clearly found that Yoshizawa was just laughing on the surface, cooperating with the excitement, but his heart was still depressed, and he was not really happy at all, and the happiness in those live broadcasts was all performed. Shintang reluctantly threw breakfast into the trash can, turned around and left. Jizza immediately called out to Shintang, not wanting to live up to his kindness, and took this opportunity to take a video. Seeing that this was not the way, Yu Kai-tong kept letting him use his superpowers to create happiness. Shintang no longer resisted and agreed to use superpowers. In order to obtain survival energy, he began to frequently use his superpowers to create illusions to make her happy. In the square, he used doll clothes to create transformation magic, so that Yoshizawa couldn't tell which headgear was under Shintang. This scene made Yoshizawa very happy, but the lifeline still did not extend. What happened to this girl? Later, he created romantic fantasy scenes for her, which made the live broadcast popular and made Yoshi's happy. But it backfired, and even with the intervention of superpowers, there was still no sign of growth. Yoshizawa smiled on the surface every time, and her happiness did not last. Usually disappears in a few minutes. She is a performance. As soon as it was over, she would immediately put away her smile and return to her silent and decadent appearance. It's really difficult. Shintang was full of firepower and danced a handsome dance using fantasy in the venue outside the school. At the end, there were still petals falling, and he was bound to make Yoshizawa happy. There was only curiosity and shock in Yoshizawa's eyes, and there was no sign of happiness at all. Shintang lost his patience and bluntly asked Jizawa why he was unhappy, and she had been pretending to be happy. This sentence instantly hit Yoshizawa's heart. After doing so much, she is never happy. Yoshizawa's inner world has always been lonely, and no one has ever really cared about his own affairs. Yoshizawa also felt that Shintang did this just to make the video more popular, so as to expose himself, and he didn't know that Shintang wanted to make her really happy. Happy illusions cannot heal inner wounds, and only true companionship and understanding can bring real change. He just wanted to make her happy, but she didn't believe it. Shintang slowly discovered that no matter how beautiful the illusion was, the emptiness and sadness in Yoshi's eyes never disappeared. So he tried to start with Yoshizawa's professional songs. Shintang studied folk songs all day. He sang to her seriously with the most simple voice without any special effects. In the evening, Yoshizawa was about to go off the air, saying goodnight to the fans, and the smile on his face instantly withdrew after the broadcast, and he sat on the stone steps with a sad face. At this time, the sound of singing slowly came from my ears. It was an old song. This melody carries the warm memories of Yoshizawa and his mother. Shintang sat on the bay window and mustered up the courage to sing this light and clear song for Jizza. Yoshizawa heard the familiar melody, his inner defense gradually collapsed, and he sang the song along, showing a heartfelt smile for the first time. After singing, Jizza sent a message to Shintang and expressed his most sincere gratitude. You remind me of a particularly happy time. How do you know if the singer is me? This was also the first time Shintang felt the extension of the lifeline on his palm, which meant that he gained survival energy from Yoshizawa's happiness. The song became a turning point in their relationship, marking the beginning of Yoshizawa's acceptance of Shintang's company. This time, Shintang rekindled hope. There are still 74 days left to return to the home planet, and there can be no slackening. The next day, Yoshizawa secretly took medicine in the toilet and hurriedly asked for leave, hesitating to speak, arousing suspicion from his roommates. They felt that Yoshizawa always asked for leave on the 10th, often went out alone, and was depressed when he returned. The roommate chose to secretly follow her to see where she went. With Shintang's company, Yoshi's depression gradually improved, and he took the initiative to express his gratitude. Yoshi's came to the dance studio with coffee. She had a shy and bright smile on her face. She handed the coffee to Shintang, called adding sugar to his life, and then stirred the coffee for him with a straw with her own hands. It just so happened that at this time, Shintang was melancholy because the wrist guard was broken. This brand has also been discontinued. This scene made Yoshizawa remember it. The sweetness of milk tea echoes their mood at the moment. Shintang looked back at the live broadcast replay, and a different kind of feeling was born in his heart. At this time, they are like all ordinary couples, they enjoy the simple daily sweetness. At first, Shintang deliberately coaxed Yoshi's Yi to be happy just to survive. But when he swiped the daily videos of those couples, his feelings for Yoshizawa slowly changed. Because of the leave, Yoshizawa went somewhere else. Yu Kaitong called, reminding Shintang that he had time to say goodbye to the Earthlings, and that he was about to leave in dozens of days. Shintang, who had just ignited his interest, thought of this, and instantly felt depressed. After bidding farewell to Shintang, Yoshizawa came to the women's prison. The roommates were curious about Yoshizawa's mysterious whereabouts, and they hid in the distance and secretly filmed Yoshizawa's whereabouts with their mobile phones, and informed Shintang, hoping that Shintang would be disgusted with her. It turned out that Yoshizawa was a glamorous internet celebrity anchor on the surface, but in fact he suffered from major depression. She has been hiding her illness. Yoshizawa has been suffering from depression for a long time, and her mother's imprisonment past has made her extremely insecure, so she often asked for leave from school on the grounds of physical discomfort on the 10th, but in fact she went to see her mother, which is a secret she has always hidden. The old song is the emotional bond between Yoshizawa and his mother, who often sang it when he was young, symbolizing warmth and hope against the darkness of depression. She told her mother that the doctors said she no longer needed to take medicine every day. Her childhood family of origin was the psychological root of her life. As a child, she witnessed her mother's long-term violent treatment by her stepfather, living in fear and depression. In a serious domestic violence incident, the mother's auditory nerve was permanently damaged, resulting in complete deafness. When Yoshizawa became an adult, his stepfather extended his claws to his adult daughter. In order to protect her, her mother accidentally killed Yoshizawa's stepfather and was sentenced to prison. Yoshizawa was not very old and became an orphan with no one to rely on. This incident left a serious psychological shadow on her and was the root cause of her later depression. In an environment full of violence and fear, silent sign language becomes the only way for them to comfort each other and convey their love, and the absence of voice makes the expression of emotions purer. Silent love is more powerful than spoken language. After visiting his mother, Jiza took back his mobile phone and found that Shintang had made a lot of calls. Yoshizawa walked out of the prison gate with a lonely expression and saw Shintang and his roommate at a glance. She froze instantly. Her face was bloody. Her secret was broken by the person she cared about the most, and shame, fear, and despair instantly came up. Shintang didn't speak, just looked at her quietly. Jizawa collapsed in front of Shintang and told him all his secrets directly. Following the rotation of the camera, Yoshizawa's perspective is finally put together. From the day her mother was imprisoned, she suffered from major depression. Everyone knew that she was the daughter of a murderer. Her classmates were talking about her behind her back, isolating her, and she felt that she did not deserve to be loved or saved. Yoshizawa's voice trembled, intermittently. Every word that others say is like tearing their own wounds. Those words of encouragement by the teacher in public became a huge pressure in his heart. Despair replaced hope, but those beautiful words pushed Yoshizawa into a dead end. This is the first time that Yoshizawa has removed all his disguise. She confronts her trauma and makes Shintang completely understand the despair behind her fake happiness. She felt that she caused all the misfortune. She is already too familiar with the darkness of a person. After Yoshizawa poured out his secret, his emotions completely collapsed, and he squatted in the heavy rain and cried bitterly. Shintang stayed with her for a long time in the rain, and the two were soaked. She was already soaked. He sent the despondent Yoshizawa back to the girls' dormitory. He followed into the dormitory on the grounds that he did not bring the key. Shintang was wearing a soaked white shirt, close to his body, and the two sat on the edge of the bed facing each other, which was very embarrassing. Yoshizawa entered the bathroom to take a shower and habitually covered the door with a towel. This is the shadow caused by her being voyeurized as a child. Shintang took the initiative to wait outside to avoid unnecessary misunderstandings. The girls passing by looked sideways, discussed and took pictures, and the scene was awkward and funny. This scene is the first time she felt warmth like never before. In the companionship and proximity again and again, Yoshi's frozen heart finally slowly loosened. She has long been accustomed to carrying all the pain alone, and she is used to the days when no one understands and no one cares. But Shintang is different. He had seen her most embarrassing appearance and heard her most unbearable past, But he did not leave, but just guarded her quietly. Shintang's lifeline was extended again. This down-to-earth companionship melted the ice in Yoshizawa's heart little by little, and Yoshi's really felt it for the first time. It turns out that she can also be distressed and taken care of, and it turns out that there are really people in this world who are willing to stay for her and give her a little light. When it was Shintang's turn to take a bath, he accidentally ran into Yoshi's storage bag in a panic, and the items were scattered all over the place. When he picked it up, he accidentally saw Yoshizawa's antidepressant medication. At that moment, all speculation fell to the ground. He only knew that she was unhappy and sad before, but when those medicines really appeared in front of him, he really realized that Yoshi's was not hypocritical, not in a bad mood. She was really sick, and she was very sick. He could still use his superpowers to create happy fantasies before, but at this moment when he saw the medicine, all the fantasies looked pale and ridiculous. He finally understood that the short-term happiness he had given her before could not save her at all. Shintang was instantly overwhelmed by distress. There are 65 days left in the blink of an eye. When Shintang learned the news of Yoshizawa's depression, he was no longer worried about himself, but afraid that his departure would hurt Yoshizawa. Shintang confessed to Wei Kaitong about GZE's depression. Yu Kaitong said that it was enough to guarantee that Yoshi's would live well before leaving, and it had nothing to do with him whether he would die or not after leaving. These cold words made Shintang feel uncomfortable. "You want me to watch you die in front of me?" After confirming his guardian intentions, Shintang officially invited Yoshizawa to his house for a date. He packed up his room in advance, full of anticipation. Yoshizawa painted exquisite makeup early, changed into beautiful clothes, prepared for an evening date, and carefully prepared gifts. Braces are not valuable gifts, but they represent that Yoshizawa is starting to pay attention to him and feel sorry for him. On the other side, Yu Kaitong refused to leave for a long time, and kept singing the old song, jokingly teasing Shintang. At night, Jiza came to the appointment, and Shintang directly kicked Yu Kaitong out. "And give a warning with your finger." Without disturbing each other, Jiza came to Shintang's neat and clean room, praised him repeatedly, praising him for cleaning up cleaner than girls. He also played Yoshizawa's favorite song. The two people no longer fought and bickered with each other as before, but both became a little restrained, with a hint of shyness. The melody of the duet sung together before was quietly floating in the air. The two unconsciously remembered the details of the singing at that time, and when they raised their eyes and lowered their heads, an ambiguous and gentle atmosphere slowly spread in the room. Shintang looked at her and wanted to hear her sing again. Yoshizawa smiled and shirked, saying that there will be time in the future, and he is not in a hurry at this time. But Shintang is very stubborn and must sing now. Shintang is going to leave the earth after all. He only hopes that in his only short days, he can remember her voice a little more, stay with her for a while, and do his best to heal her. He wanted her to live well without him. The beautiful singing sounded, and was accidentally heard by Jiu Sengxi downstairs. He looked up and asked, "Miss, you sing so well, do you have a boyfriend?" She has. This response is not only Shintang's protection of Jiza, but also an expression of his heart to her. Yoshi's looked up and saw the full moon, and took out his mobile phone to take a picture of the moon. Shintang suddenly stretched out his hand, quickly cut the camera to the front, and took a selfie with the two of them. The moonlight fell on them, and the atmosphere suddenly became ambiguous to the extreme. Needless to say, they both understand each other's hearts. Yoshizawa completely removed all defenses. Shintang looked at her, and finally plucked up the courage to approach, and in the gentle moonlight, the two kissed for the first time. After kissing, both of them were so nervous that their fingers trembled slightly. Shintang was happy and panicked, and didn't dare to stay any longer, so he got up and said to pour a glass of water for Jiza. When he was boiling water in the kitchen, he whispered to Yu Kaitong in the living room. He said that when he was a child, he got into trouble and accidentally knocked over the hot oil pan. It was his mother who stood in front of him without hesitation, and half of his shoulders were burned with blisters, leaving scars that could never be erased. For a long time, he didn't understand why his father could leave, so why he stubbornly stayed on Earth. He would rather wait until his life is exhausted than leave. Until the heartbeat at that moment, he seemed to suddenly understand. Yoshizawa was waiting for Shintang in the bedroom and accidentally flipped through his secret record book. The above word by word is talking about secrets that she can't understand. She actually has no intention of really blaming him. As long as Shintang opened his mouth to explain, She was willing to go down the steps and believe him. But Shintang was just silent when he came back, refusing to say a word. The more he didn't explain, the more panicked Yoshi's heart became, and his originally warm heart sank to the bottom little by little. When she was about to be unable to hold back, Shintang finally said everything in all kinds of entanglements. Shintang told Jiza all the secrets. Shintang came from alien territories, approached her and made her happy, but to collect happy energy to extend her life. This is just a task at the beginning. Yoshizawa stood in place, and the more he listened, the colder his heart became. She thought that the heartbeat, tenderness, companionship, and moonlight kiss were all real love, but for him it was just a well-arranged scam. Everything that was so sweet that it was hot just now, it instantly turned into sharp irony. Her face turned pale instantly, and her whole body froze in place, unable to say a word. After this scene, Yoshizawa collapsed and ran out, unwilling to believe all this. Jiza completely collapsed and rushed to the door to escape. Shintang stopped her with an illusion in a hurry. Dense trees grew at the door in an instant, blocking the road tightly. But now Yoshizawa already understands everything. No matter how realistic it is just fake. She felt pain and despair in her heart, and hesitated for a moment. She simply crossed her heart and rushed out desperately. The tree really dissipated instantly, and everything was an illusion. This is even more confirming that Shintang is lying to her, and all the tenderness is fake. The huge blow made her in a trance, and she ran all the way to the middle of the road, facing a big car speeding up. The dazzling headlights hit her face, but she stood still numbly, just thinking that this was Shintang's fantasy, as if she didn't want to live at all. At the critical moment, Yu Kai-tong rushed over and forcibly dragged her back to the side of the road. She was not hit by a car. As Shintang's alien companion, Yu Kai-tong completely explained to her the alien's identity, abilities, and binding rules after Jiza discovered Shintang's secret. Only then did Yoshizawa understand what was going on. They are a race from alien territories. They possess the ability to create illusions and manipulate emotions with their voices. When humans generate positive emotions such as happiness and satisfaction due to their voice, they are converted into their life energy, allowing them to survive on Earth and have a very long life. If they use their abilities on the same person 3 times in a row, they will be deeply bound to the other person's life, and Shintang's life will be completely dependent on Yoshizawa's emotions. Shintang's father disappeared with the death of his lover because he was bound to the Earthlings. After learning the truth, Yoshizawa's mood was no longer simply angry, but complex to the point of suffocation. She even naively felt that as long as she could be with him, it didn't matter anything else. But Yu Kai-tong cruelly woke her up. Human life is only a few decades, but this is only a moment in their long lives. Shintang should not give up thousands of years of life for the sake of these decades of happiness. In order to make Jiza completely give up and understand completely, Yu Kai-tong used illusions to take her to see Shintang's childhood. Shintang was originally called Shintang Sheng, and the little Shintang watched his father and mother leave one after another in front of him, lonely and lonely. This scene hit Yoshi's heart. She looked at the helpless child, tears burst instantly, and she couldn't stop crying. She finally understood that Shintang's biggest fear was loneliness, and she finally understood that they shouldn't have been together from the beginning. So Jiza wiped away his tears and made up his mind to listen to Yu Kai-tong's words. She wants to let go completely and let go of Shintang completely. Jiza took the notebook to find Shintang, and she read the truth told by Yu Kai-tong to him word by word and clearly. Every word is like a needle in the hearts of the two. She deliberately said the most unpleasant and hurtful words, desperately driving him away and forcing him to give up on himself. But only she knew that every time she said a word, her heart was like being torn open, and she was about to suffocate in pain. Although it was a lie at first. Can you just let me go? You go where you need to go, and I live the life I should live. After saying that, Yoshizawa turned around and left. Shintang stood in place, staring at her back, full of pain, only hoping that she could look back at him. Finally, Jiza couldn't help but look back, but there was emptiness behind him, and Shintang was gone. The two lost each other in the same struggle. At this point, the two completely broke up and completely separated. After the breakup, Yoshizawa's depression seemed to break free from all shackles and deteriorated sharply, dragging her back to the dark abyss without light. In order to completely escape from the place where there are traces of Shintang, Jiza pulled Yao Yao out of the dormitory and rented a small house in a corner of the city, closing the door to his heart and the window to the outside world. Since then, Shintang has never seen GZE's figure again. As if the world has evaporated, she completely disappeared from his world. He found Yoshizawa's friend Yaoyao and humbly asked about Yoshizawa's current situation. But Yaoyao looked at him. Her tone was full of distress and anger, and she bluntly drove him away, and said that what depressed patients need most is to stay away from stresses, and Shintang was the root cause of her deterioration. This sentence was like a heavy hammer, slamming into Shintang's heart, completely shattering his remaining hope. And Yoshizawa has always been trapped in the dark cage he woven, refusing to take a step. She refuses all social interactions, does not contact anyone, and closes herself in a small rental house. She could only travel back and forth to the psychiatric hospital frequently, barely supporting herself with medication and treatment. Even so, Shintang did not give up waiting. No matter the wind or rain, he will stay where Yoshis may appear, day after day, rain or shine. For Shintang, Yoshizawa was never his task of collecting energy, but the only light he had since come to earth. The longing after the breakup became the most painful illness for the two, tormenting them day and night. Shintang often stood alone, recalling the bits and pieces of the past, remembering the mean words he had impulsively said to Jiza. His tears welled up uncontrollably. There are only 10 days left to leave in the end. Yoshi's hid all his emotions in his heart, numb and calm on the surface, but his depression worsened day by day. It's not that she doesn't want to see Shintang, but she doesn't dare. She was afraid that her fragility would drag him down, and she was even more afraid of facing the pain of truth and separation again. If Yaoyao hadn't stayed by her side every step of the way, took good care of her, patiently comforted her, and pulled her back to the verge of collapse again and again, she would not have been able to hold on. If I had known that the stamina was so great, it would have been nice if we hadn't broken up at that time. But I can't drag him down. Time passed little by little, and there was only one day left in the countdown to leaving. In the face of Yu Chitong's repeated urging, Shintang was extremely firm. He raised his head. His eyes were full of obsession and determination, and he didn't leave. He didn't care about his lifespan. He only knew that he couldn't leave Yoshizawa behind. Yu Kaitong looked at the stubborn Shintang, and there was no way to do it after all. In desperation, he told Yoshizawa the truth that night. This sentence was like thunder exploding in Shintang's ears, and the long-accumulated anger and guilt completely exploded at this moment. On the day Shintang left the earth, Yoshizawa chose to receive electroconvulsive treatment, with the aim of completely forgetting Shintang. She wants to cut off this bond that makes both of them suffer. A side effect of the treatment was the loss of all memories about Shintang. Shintang was on the other side, walking step by step towards the passage back to his home planet, about to leave completely. One of them is forgetting and the other is leaving, and the time is just synchronized. The time of the passage was limited, and Yu Kaitong reminded him not to stay any longer, as this would only harm Yoshi's. Before the treatment, guys deliberately started a farewell live broadcast. There is one thing that I have actually hesitated about for a long time, but if you think about it, I still have to give you an explanation. This is her last explanation to herself, her fans, and this relationship before she completely forgets Shintang and bids farewell to the past. This time she looked calm and tired. She calmly told all the audience that she had always been depressed, but it's depression. Some people will definitely say, "Isn't it amazing, I'm also depressed." Some people will also say, "As for why, you laughed quite happily in the video." In the past, the happiness in the live broadcast was all pretending, and she publicly admitted her illness for the first time. She takes off all her disguise. Depression is different from other conditions. If it is another disease, it will immediately get the sympathy and care of many people, but it is depression. Many people think that depression is a bad mood, thinking too much, and being too pretentious, but only those who have really experienced it know. That's not an emotion at all, it's a disease. It did not collapse suddenly, but was hollowed out for a long time. Obviously I didn't do anything, but I was so tired that I used all my strength to get up, eat, and talk. No matter how lively the world is, it is separated from itself by a thick layer of glass. Society's greatest malice towards depression. It is never indifference, but not treating it as a disease. This live broadcast gave her friends a deeper understanding of her pain. In the past, Yoshizawa's emotions had long been numb, and her emotions were single and empty, but it wasn't until she met that person that she didn't know for the first time she felt the ups and downs of her emotions again clearly. It was this person who made her feel that it was possible to live with warmth, and it was this person who gave her the courage to persevere and the hope to fight against the darkness. So this time, she no longer ran away, no longer pretended. She is willing to face up to depression and treat it well. Shintang, accompanied by Yu Kai-tong, walked step by step towards the interstellar teleportation channel, preparing to return to his home planet. According to the rules, as long as he walks into the passage, he can live, and Yoshizawa will completely forget about him and never owe each other. But just as he was about to step into the passage, Shintang suddenly stopped. He had never been able to understand why his father didn't go back, but now he clearly realized that he could not live without Yoshizawa at all. If you return to your home planet and make yourself suffer, wouldn't it be a good thing for him to stay and accompany his love life now? Seeing his sincere eyes, Yu Kai-tong immediately thought of Shintang's father and understood this feeling. After the two hugged and said goodbye, Shintang immediately turned around and returned. Shintang has been bound to Jizawa, and the lives of the two are shared. As an alien, he never believed in the weight of love, and always felt that it was the ethereal obsession of human beings, an untouchable bubble. But at this moment, he could feel it clearly. His heart surged with concern and concern. Shintang had already rushed to the gate of the Mother Star Passage, and the door was tightly closed at this moment. He looked at the closed door, and his mind was full of Yoshizawa's appearance. He tried his best, pressed his hands against the door, desperately trying to force it open, even if the life energy in his body was rapidly consumed. Not far away, Yu Kai-tong always stopped in place and did not move forward. Shintang's persistence made him involuntarily recall Shintang's father's words before his death. They are happy. He watched Shintang's changes and rushes. Yu Kai-tong had already unknowingly regarded Jiza as his family, and had already let go of his obsession with his home planet and was no longer obsessed with going back. At this moment, he no longer hesitated and stepped forward without hesitation. He injected the life energy in his body little by little into Shintang's body and worked side by side with him. The two energies intertwined and collided, and with a desperate determination, the door of the originally closed Home Star channel was finally forcibly pushed open. Without stopping at all, Shintang used up his last bit of strength and ran wildly in the direction of the hospital. The wind howls in the ears. His mind kept flashing bits and pieces related to Yoshizawa, her pretending to be happy smile, her silent collapse in the middle of the night, and every picture supported him to keep running. The binding of the two is not only energy, but also a deep connection between emotions and memories. When Yoshizawa's memory is stripped away, Shintang will simultaneously feel tearing pain, weakness, and even death. Those pictures that were once engraved in the bottom of his heart, Shintang's smile, the warmth he gave, seemed to have been pressed the delete button, dissipating little by little. She couldn't hold on to it anymore. A tear slipped silently from the corner of his eye, as if the most important person in his life suddenly disappeared. When Shintang rushed into the ward tremblingly, the first thing he saw was the strange, frightened, and overwhelmed Jiza. She didn't know him. There was no past, no temperature, no familiar traces in her eyes. The panic on Yoshizawa's face was like a knife, piercing all his expectations. Yao Yao looked outside the ward and reminded softly, "The person he wants to forget most now is you." Shintang stood in place, his whole body drained, his soul was hollowed out. Yu Kai-tong looked at all this calmly. He knew that if he dragged it on, Shintang's energy would be completely exhausted. So Yu Kai-tong immediately launched the memory recovery plan, first found Yao Yao, and persuaded her with sincerity and stubbornness. He asked her to cooperate with the memory awakening plan. Shintang returned to the square where they filmed live broadcasts and danced together, which was the happiest memory of the two. He put on his bare hood and danced the dance they had danced together awkwardly and earnestly. His movements were exactly the same as they were then, and he wanted to stimulate Yoshizawa's subconscious through scenes and familiarity. When Jizawa passed by, he saw it, and his heart was tingling and trance-like, but the memory still didn't come back. He just felt that this dancing person was very familiar, which made her very sad. Shintang was bound to the relationship. His energy was depleted, his body weakened rapidly, and his lifeline became shorter and shorter. He knew he was running out of time and had to wake up Yoshizawa before he died. At night, Shintang once again danced the dance that once made Jizi happy, clumsy, and serious. He just wanted her to take a second look and think of something. But Jiza just looked at it calmly, His eyes were strange, unmoved, and he turned around and left slowly, without a trace of nostalgia. Looking at the back of Jizza, who was determined to leave, Shintang couldn't hold on any longer, and his eyes darkened. He fainted on the ground. Yu Kaitong took him to the hospital. Shintang was in a coma for 2 days, and the examination showed that his internal organs were rapidly failing. The doctor couldn't find any cause. Only Yu Kaitong knew in his heart that his lifeline was about to run out and his life was coming to an end. In a hurry, Yu Kaitong suddenly remembered Shintang's notebook, which was full of bits and pieces of him and Jizye. Yu Kaitong decided to gamble once and handed the notebook to Jizza. He disguised himself as a courier and waited on the way home from school for Yoshizawa. He handed the book to her with his own hands. In the hospital, Shintang's life has reached a countdown. His breathing is weak, and his heartbeat is getting lighter and lighter. He took his last breath and stared at the video that Yoshizawa had once entered in a daze, with only one thought left in his heart. In the last moments of life, he found Yao Yao and begged her to help him start a live broadcast. He wants to sing the song that belongs to them, and sing all his thoughts to Yoshi's. The singing slowly sounded. Every word was his heart, hiding all the stories of their encounters, companionship, struggles and love. On the other side, Yoshizawa sat on a roadside bench and slowly opened the notebook. The moment the first page came into view, countless erased memories exploded and frantically poured into my mind. The accident of their first meeting, his clumsy and gentle guard, his comfort in the middle of the night, his concern during the live broadcast. He fought against the whole world for her, risked his life for her, and all the pictures instantly returned to their places. If I didn't see it, how long are you going to lie to me? How can there be so many good things? You help me make money by making videos, and then you don't want anything. Yoshizawa suddenly came back to his senses, tears falling uncontrollably. She finally remembered the boy who loved and protected her with all his might. At the end of the book, it is written, "My girl Yoshizawa." Every page of text, every photo, is like a key that forcibly pries open her memories sealed by treatment. Her brain was instantly filled. Just when she was crying bitterly while holding the book, Shintang's singing came from the mobile phone of others. How do you know that the person who sings is me? Because I remember your voice. The moment the memory revived, it seemed that a force broke through the barrier. She desperately ran in the direction of Shintang. The road under her feet was blurred by tears, and the wind howling in her ears that couldn't hide her violent heartbeat. The panic of losing and regaining, coupled with the long accumulated pain and love in my heart, completely broke through the defense line at this moment. She didn't know how long she had run, through the crowd, through the whole world. She had to see him, she had to tell him, she remembered it all. At the same time, in the hospital ward, the song that carries all the stories was also sung to the last sentence. The moment the singing fell, Shintang's originally weak breath became longer and more still. He slowly closed his eyes, as if he had finally unloaded all his burdens, and as if he was waiting for the final answer. The candle of life swayed to the extreme at this moment. She rushed into the ward shouting his name. She silently took his hand. Jizza looked at the dying Shintang, collapsed instantly, knelt on the edge of the bed and hugged him and cried. Holding Shintang's cold hand tightly, tears fell on the back of his hand, crying heart-wrenchingly, calling his name. Her crying was intertwined, her ultimate remorse, pain, and love. She is pained that she has just found her love, but she has to face the reality that he is about to die. Just as Yoshi's tears fell on Shintang's palm, the light band representing life on his wrist suddenly lit up again and began to grow. Images of their first encounter emerged. Didn't we say 3 times before binding? It turned out that 4 years ago, on the day Yoshi's mother was imprisoned, she was on the verge of collapse, and Shintang passed by and inadvertently comforted a crying child with her voice. The voice happened to let the loudspeaker play, and Yoshizawa heard it, giving her support. This is his first use of Yoshizawa's ability, but neither of them knows. The film is adapted from Luo Luo's novel The End of Endless Love, which was very controversial when it was released, and some people criticized it for its values and other issues, who felt that how love could be higher than life and not realistic enough. But this kind of two-way redemption, life and death dependence of sadomasochistic setting, these accurately hit young people's yearning for the ultimate love. Youth is never only bright and joyful, it also hides the scars of the original family, the suffocation of depression, and the indifference of bystanders. It reminds us to stop turning a blind eye to the unhappiness around us, stop defining other people's pain with hypocrisy. May everyone who struggles in the dark meet their own Shintang. The End of Endless Love. I hope we can remember it forever with sincerity.